All right, welcome everybody to Yoga for Anxiety Part 2. This is just a reminder that I'm not a trained therapist. These are just creative tools to use in your yoga practice to help with anxiety and other maybe emotional, mental experiences that we're having. So, the first class, if you were here, we talked a lot about, we spent time just really being centered and being in this present space and just acknowledging that space without any expectation. And so this week we're going to build on that a little. So we're going to start in a seated position. We're just going to work on that, kind of revisiting some of those concepts from the first class, and then we'll move into the concepts for this class. So you can start, if you want, your palms open to the receiving position, where you could have them comfortably on your knees. Look to kind of adjust your seat bones. And we'll take a nice slow breath in. And let's try to bring that breath all the way into the belly. And once it gets there, if you can hold it for a second or two, and then open mouth, exhale, release. That one more time, just thinking a little transition from out there in that cold, busy, chaotic world to in here, our little warm sanctuary. Inhaling, drop the shoulders. Find the breath all the way into the belly. And when you're ready to release, empty out. Beautiful. We'll move into a yogi breath next. YG in and out through the nose. Lips pressed together. Gentle constriction in the back of your throat. We're going to take these breaths a little bit slower than maybe we would as we're getting our breath ready for a vinyasa. I want you to still think about those deep abdomen or belly breaths. So as you inhale, maybe think about getting your belly big and round. If it helps to bring your hand to your belly, go right ahead. And exhaling back out. Just starting here with a little observation without judgment. So if you have a busy mind, I know that it's almost impossible not to in today's world. If you see that you have busy thoughts coming in, don't worry about it. As soon as you see them, just kind of acknowledge them and let them disappear off into the distance. You can bring your focus at any time to the breath. Starting to observe here, maybe you notice the sound of the breath moving in and out, or maybe you feel the belly getting bigger and rounder and then sinking back in. Maybe you notice some sensations in your body. Settle in here, we'll start to move into our concepts for the second class of yoga for anxiety. So typically we associate anxiety with the future and depression with the past, but that doesn't mean they can't be interchanged. Certainly you might have depression about something you're thinking about in the future, or anxiety about an experience from the past. So today we're going to take that focus a little bit more to the past, and maybe if you have any depression or underlying anxiety from past experiences, and we're going to look at ways in which to redirect that. So for example, think of something maybe in your past experience that you think might be affecting you now. So for example, once I was in a relationship, and when it ended, I found out a lot of things that kind of rocked my world, kind of moved the ground out from underneath me, and I felt very insecure afterwards. So everything from doubts about whether or not I was good enough, or why I didn't see some of the lies or things going on in the relationship. And so what we want to do with some of those types of experiences are really look back and forgive the experience itself by showing gratitude for that experience. So in this case, I might express gratitude for that lesson of learning what it is I don't want. And it might be a witness for doubting myself, for those limiting beliefs coming in, making me think I'm not good enough. Another example might be if you've ever been let go from a company, if you felt that kind of insecurity, that can happen, and it happens in companies where maybe you didn't let go and other people did. And so you start to have doubts, these doubts crawl in, right? And if we look at those as limiting beliefs, because we know there are lots of other jobs out there, especially now during the Great Resignation, we might look at that as a gift or an opportunity to grow and develop. And forgetting any doubts about yourself that you might have if that happened to you. And returning to that source energy or that space that is the only thing that exists, whether it's your faith, your source energy, your belief in the universe, whatever it means to you. So today, in order to do some of that, focus on that, we're going to work into two yogi concepts. We're going to talk about ahimsa, which is the first of the yamas and the niyamas, and that is going to be non-violence. That means non-violence. We're going to practice some movement and non-violence to ourselves and others as a way to practice forgiveness or letting go of some of those experiences. And we're also going to look at some root chakra poses. So oftentimes a feeling of insecurity or a lack of safety comes from our root chakra being off balance. So we'll work on some of those poses. So from here, I want you to just take a deep breath in and then exhale, kind of roll forward and find puppy pose. So we're going to bring those knees underneath the hips and reach the fingers forward and start to work open through the chest. So you could rest your cheek or your third eye. If you tend to be a person who carries your stress or tension in your shoulders, you may want to adjust a little. Maybe you want to open, getting the pecs a little closer to the earth. You could also bend your elbows. Let those triceps sink down into the earth, really opening the upper back. So we have a heart opener here, and our heart is open to the earth. So we've got a grounding pose. We're safe and secure in the knees and through. And we can start to maybe breathe in some of that earth's energy. Maybe you think of it as a warm light. And we'll just be here for about a minute, just finding that space where we can observe without judgment. And maybe you start to notice some things like your body feeling safe into the earth. Maybe take observation of any sensations in the body. Maybe you feel like you could sink that heart deeper into the earth. Sometimes it can be hard to hold a pose and just work on that observation. And what we're doing here is not only talking to our central nervous system, but we are practicing ways in which to find stillness, which is very hard in a busy, busy world. But our magic can't happen unless we balance out all that chaos with some stillness. When you're ready from here, we're just going to take this to a little curve to the right. So bringing your arms to the right, maybe your toes to the right. You can readjust however you want. And we'll squeeze into that right side and start to open up the left side body a little bit more. So maybe you start to pull your left hip back. Maybe you walk that left arm a little to work through the intercostal and through the armpit area, the shoulders. Maybe on your next breath, you can deepen this a little bit, squeezing a little more into that right side, exhaling a little deeper towards the earth. can get a feeling of letting go as you settle here. And then we'll go ahead and walk it to the other side at your pace, just nice and slow. Reaching to the left side and finding some space for that right side. So we're working on those grounding poses here. We're feeling that earth's energy and getting some security and safety through the root chakra. But we're also working into the side body. So if you ever are feeling stuck, like you can't move forward or you can't let go of something, a lot of times in that rib cage, we hang on to some energy and we forget about it. We do heart openers and grounding poses, but our side body needs some attention too. So finding space for each of those ribs. And maybe you breathe in space for those ribs and then exhale, let your heart sink to the earth. One more breath here, and then we'll walk back into center, gently and slowly, and we'll find a little bit of movement. We're going to work through some energy before we meditate at the end. That's a typical response for working into deeper meditation, is to get that energy moving through the body first. So as you come to tabletop, inhale, drop the belly, lift up the heart. Little cow pose here, and see if you can bring your attention to any feeling or sensation you're having. Maybe it's in the low back. Maybe you acknowledge that you sometimes feel tightness or pain in the low back that might be related to some negative energy or some anxiety or depression in the body. And let's exhale, roll up into cat. So here we're pulling the hips forward, stacking shoulders over the wrist, kind of pressing the mat away. Bringing the chin into chest and starting to sway the head back and forth. Really each inhale, bringing that belly button up into spine. Hauling out the belly. And from here, let's just find a little movement back and forth. Inhaling, dropping down the belly. And exhaling, rolling up. So sometimes we do these one breath, one movement. And when we do that, we're just looking for connection with the universe. Maybe a little ebb and flow, thinking of the ocean waves or the wind in the tree. And just letting our life force start to build and connect through the body. Let's do one more here, inhaling down. And exhale, let's roll it back up. From here, walk your hands forward. We're just going to take a lazy high cobra. Still stacking shoulders over the wrists. Let's lower the hips down into the earth. So again, looking for sensations in the body. For me, it's lower back, hips, and I'm working to press my hips down into the earth, grounding out here. Those root chakra poses. Always thinking though of that ahimsa concept or nonviolence. At any time it feels too intense, let your body release. Just hold here for a couple breaths. And I have lazy legs in the back. If you feel like you'd like a little more activity there, you can certainly squeeze the thighs together. And if you have it in you to open your heart a little bit more today, take your gaze and throw it up and open. Vulnerable pose here. One more breath in. On your exhale, we're going to send it back into child's pose, shifting and resting the body. So taking a little counter pose for that deep heart and back opener and grounding back into the earth. And from here, we're just going to find that same movement at your pace. Again, remembering what works best for your body. When you're ready, inhale forward, come up, drop the hips and lift the heart if you like. And then when you're ready to exhale, shift back into that child's pose. We'll do that 2 more times, building up a little heat and energy in the body, working to open the heart, be a little vulnerable, and then reminding ourselves that we are grounded to the earth. Last one. And exhale it back. Take 3 or 5 breaths here. observation without judgment, just noticing what's going on in the mind, body, spirit. We'll work through a little bit more grounding as we move up into down dog. Whenever you're ready, and inhale up. You can stop at tabletop, flip your toes, or if you'd like to go all the way through hips, and maybe come back up by flipping toes or rolling on the tops of the feet, adding a little ankle stretch and a little core engagement. Hands start to plant into the earth here, maybe using the balls of your fingers to press the mat away. Tiny bend in those elbows, especially if you're hypermobile at all. And then just look to find the connection between the hands and the earth and the feet and the earth. So that might mean coming up onto tiptoes and then working those heels down. Maybe check in with those shoulders. Try to externally rotate the shoulders. Maybe you'll get a little deeper into that pose. Find some sensations through the hamstrings. And always inhaling to hollow out that belly. Pulling the hips a little higher and exhaling a little closer to the earth. So again, find some maybe a red color or red energy warmth through the hands and feet as you're grounding into this pose. On your next inhale, let's walk the hands back. So if you're using blocks here, that's awesome, that's just fine. I want your back to be protected. So we're working belly to thighs, and by doing that, we have to hollow out the belly. So you might find that your hamstrings right away say, no, this is as far as they can go. You can use those fingertips. I just don't want you to crunch and round your back. I want you to think of that belly button, the spine, and then exhale, maybe work a little deeper. And then check in with the head and neck. We want to dump out stress and tension here. So try not to find additional tension or just aggravating the neck a little or not. Just let it go. Maybe you shake your head and neck. And from here you could change up your arms a little. If you feel like you can get belly to thighs already, maybe you slide those hands back to the ankles and use the elbows as a little dynamic tension to press to the back of the room. You could also bring hands to elbows, creating a little bit more depth and heaviness in the upper body. And feeling that safety through the feet, you know that you are grounded through the earth there. Let's take 2 more deep breaths in and out. We'll move into a little halfway lift. Lifting, bringing the heart up. You can bring hands to thighs if you like, shoulders back. Find that nice long straight line. Belly is still in and protecting that lower back. Exhale it back out, sinking low. When you are ready, we're going to inhale all the way up into our Tadasana mountain pose. Reaching, bring those arms up. And pause here, just relaxing the shoulders, maybe adjusting the feet a little bit. If you can, maybe work up the toes and then the heels, just really finding that space where you are connected into the earth. So sometimes, especially in the summer, if we're outside, I encourage people to go off the mat, really feeling the ground. So that it's called earthing, you connecting, really good for your root chakra. We'll breathe here for a couple more breaths as we just start to feel the connection to the earth. Nice root chakra pose here. And since we're grounded, now we're going to inhale, lift the arms up, and exhale, take that baby back bend. Inhale, come up. On your exhale, let's make the hands into a little gun. And we're going to start to draw the biceps back past the ears, opening up the heart. Inhale, come back up. And let's exhale one more time. Seeing how far you can go back, maybe noticing that each time your feet are a little more connected. Inhale up. And let's take it to the right. As you start to sink to the right, think about that grounding through the feet. Take your gaze up. Inhale, lengthen those arms, and then maybe squeeze a little deeper. Gazing up to the sun, and we'll inhale it up. Same thing on the other side. Noticing that grounding through the feet is really supporting you as you not only open the side body, But as you squeeze the side body to come back up, inhale. Exhale, fold down. And inhale, take a little halfway lift. Exhale, walk your body back to high plank. And option here to move through your chaturanga, shifting forward, high to low. Or option to take high plank, down dog. Inhaling to your upward facing dog or high cobra. And exhaling back to child's pose. Through that grounding root chakra pose again. Child's pose, right? Safety for some in that child's pose space. Let's do 3 more breaths here. We're going to move through that same series one more time, just to get a little heat and energy moving. So at your pace, let's inhale up. You can come to that tabletop, or you can drop the hips going all the way up and then flip back into your downward facing dog. So looking at a little breath movement here on your next inhale, let's walk the hands back to the feet. Fold. On your inhale, take a little halfway lift. Fingertips or hands to thighs, exhale back in. Inhale, sweep up to the sun. Take your gaze up. We'll do that 3-peat again, exhaling into a little baby back bend. Inhale into center. Let's bring the arms together. Exhale it back. And one more time, inhaling. Exhale, see how far you can go. Inhale, come up. And exhale, squeeze to the right. Inhale back. Exhale and squeeze to the left. Inhale, come back in. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, take that halfway lift. And exhale, walk it back through your full chaturanga. Or always option to move through on the knees, or just take a high plank, down dog. We'll take 5 breaths in our down dog. Checking in with this down dog to see if you feel any different than the first one you did. In class, maybe you feel those heels can go a little deeper. From here, we're going to start bringing the right toe up nice and high. Start to pull your right hip down towards the earth. Just really finding that 3-legged dog first. And then if it's in your practice, to bend the knee and open the hip. We'll hold here for 3 breaths. If each exhale, you can make that heel maybe fall a little heavier towards the earth, feeling the heaviness in the left side of the body. Connecting with that red chakra energy. Inhale, bring the toe back up high. On your exhale, as quietly as you can, draw the leg through. Knee comes almost up to nose, and then plant it in there, really activating the core. We're going to take a deep breath in by the fingertips or your blocks if you have them. Exhale. We'll move into pyramid pose. So a little bit more for the hamstring here. Pull the left hip forward and the right hip back. Fingertips maybe to set it up. Shoulders back, spine, long belly up and in. We press the spine and crown forward and the shoulders back as you sink a little deeper, finding depth in the earth. Let's do 3 deep breaths here. Last one, inhaling. And exhale, bend your right knee, bend both knees, drop that left knee to the ground. Let's inhale up here. Still keeping connected and grounded to the earth. Little modified crescent on the ground. And if you'd like to connect a little bit more with the earth, you can sink your hips forward. So what we're doing is getting deep into the psoas there. The psoas is our connector, our muscle that brings our life force, our energy, our breath, mind, body, spirit together. You can stay right here, or if it's in your practice, you want to bring your hands to a block or your fingertips and open up the left side, getting unstuck in that left side body. Inhaling up. Exhale. Bring it back into center. Let's take a deep breath in here. And exhale, left hand to that right knee. Little twist. Once you get the left elbow to that right knee, inhale your belly button up and in, and exhale, twist a little deeper, hands at heart center. Take that gaze back up to the sunlight if you like. Two more breaths here, and then we'll inhale to reach up. So as we twist here, maybe you think about letting go or forgiving, releasing. At your face, let's inhale, bring the arms back up. Exhale, plant the hands into the earth and find a forward fold. Ground through your forward fold here, again, belly to thighs, protecting that lower back. On your inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, sink back in. And let's inhale all the way to the top, back to that mountain pose. By now, it should be feeling very familiar. Exhale, hands into heart center. We're really gonna work into grounding through the left side and bringing that right foot into tree pose. So ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Just wanna avoid that knee area. I want you to find a place where you can really feel safe and grounded. And you can think about finding a drishti or a focus. That could be something you're seeing visually in your head, or it could be something on the chalkboard. Maybe it's the earth. If it feels good for you to take an arm variation here, please do. I'm going to reach my arms up and just interlace the fingers, adding a little opening. We'll be here for 3 more deep breaths, in and out. Thinking about how those redwoods and those big trees that have been there for years and years and years, they aren't going anywhere, nice and safe and grounded. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the hands into heart center. Pause, maybe shake out that left leg. We'll inhale to lengthen again, and exhale, send the right foot back. Really kind of testing our connection to the earth here with Warrior 3. If you're feeling really grounded and connected, arms back into airplane or full expression forward. And if you fall, just get right back in. Trying to find a parallel line with the mat. We'll go for 2 more breaths. From here, I want you to plunge your hands and just slowly lower that right leg. Until that right toe taps, we're gonna bring this left foot out, runner's lunge. Left knee over the left ankle, right leg lower. And so if you're here feeling stress or tension in the arms, you can add your blocks to find extra length, or move all the way to forearms. So still staying close to the earth here, letting the earth's energy move in through the hips, finding space through the hips where we carry a lot of our stress and tension. So giving ourselves permission to let it go here. If it feels good, to roll your left foot a little bit. And I'll walk you through a couple variations, so you can stay here just working the opening in the hip, feeling the fascia, and pull, lengthen through the muscles, or letting that old energy out. Or you can take your right hand to the center of the mat, forearm down, maybe turn toward that left side, bring that left hand in, press into that inner thigh a little bit if it feels good. Taking the gaze up a little bit more, maybe a little vulnerability and opening up the throat to the sunlight. And if you'd like to add on here, you can certainly bend the right knee nice and gently, maybe wave back at your toes. And if it's in your practice, to deepen that, really opening the hips and adding a little heart opener. Dynamic tension in the left side, pulling toe, lifting up. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. One more, inhaling. Exhale, let's turn down and in. Plant your hands and work your way up on that back right toe until you can step back into a high plank. We're going to open to Vashisthasana, or side plank, towards the right side of the room. So if you want to take the full expression, just roll onto that left side, stack, wrist, shoulder, and really work, squeeze through that left side, bring the right hip up. You can also modify this by coming onto your knee. Again, this is Ahimsa Nonviolence. We're listening to the body and what it might like. Arm can stretch long overhead or be straight up high. 3 more breaths. And then we're gonna work our way back to high plank chaturanga. Or you can do your high plank down dog or move through on your knees. Deep breath in. Exhale, find your way into center. Move through your vinyasa. Once you reach downward facing dog, come down to the knees. Resting in child's pose. Option here if you want to take a drink or towel off, of course, anytime, but if you want a little scheduled break. We'll take 5 breaths here. From here, we'll just go through that movement on the left side, creating some balance. As you're ready, inhale, come all the way up. If you want to drop those hips again, you certainly can, or you can flip toes or roll on the tops of the feet. Sink into that down dog, find that red energy. And when you're ready, inhale the left toe high. Squaring that left hip down, finding some space in the right hamstring, and then exhale, bend the knee, open the hip, knee pointing up to the sun. Maybe letting each exhale drop that left heel a little more, feeling heaviness towards the right side of the body, really rooting you into the earth. And inhale, pull that toe back up high. When you're ready, exhale as quietly as you can. Bring it through to the lunge. Set yourself up here, find your blocks or your fingertips, and when you're ready to inhale, lengthen out that left leg. Same thing on this side, we're pulling the right hip forward and the left hip back. So we're looking for some energy or movement into that left hamstring, maybe the calf all the way down to the ankle. Shoulders come back and spine goes forward, and then find your depth if you like, belly to thigh. Still thinking about squaring those hips out, trying to get the head and neck a little heavy to let go. Let's go for 3 breaths. And maybe you notice, you feel like you could sink a little deeper on each one. From here, we're gonna inhale, take the gaze up, exhale, bend the knees and lower down to the earth. Stacking knees and lifting up nice and slow, reaching up. Of course, if this is intense at all, bring those blocks by your side. Let's reach up here, holding this modified crescent on the ground. Plant that left foot in, find some heat there. Feel that strength through your hips, through your quad on the right side. You're grounded here, not moving. If you want to add in that psoas or hip opener, you can sink forward to a space that feels good. That's our connector muscle, again, really important. Deep breath in. If you want to, take that left fingertip down to the left side. Gaze and open up, feel the ribcage getting unstuck. From here, we're going to inhale back up and exhale the hands into heart center. Taking a deep breath in, we'll exhale, twist. So here we're thinking about letting go and detoxing. First, find that right elbow to left knee, and then inhale the belly and exhale. Find a little deeper twist. Maybe you feel safe gazing up to the earth, to the sun, as you feel your lower body grounded through the earth. If you're feeling unsteady at all, just breathe into it. 3 breaths. About letting go. No expectations. Inhale, let's bring those arms back up. Exhale, we're going to plant those hands, feel that red energy again, and find our way into a forward fold. Sink heavy here. When you're ready, inhale a halfway lift. And exhale back in. Inhale, draw all the way back up to that mountain. Just being one with the earth here. Exhale, hands into heart center. And we'll find our way into really rooting through that right side. Left leg comes to ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Wherever you're at, just looking for your focus or your drishti. Maybe you think about some of those parallels with nature, like your body is strong and lifting, pulling in and up. Maybe you feel like an arm variation. Just go for 5 breaths. Maybe keeping a tiny bend in that right knee. From here, we'll inhale, exhale, pull the hands in. Take a little release for that right leg, letting it go. And then we'll plant that right foot again, deep breath in. Exhale, find your parallel line with your mat. Looking to square the hips as much as possible, pulling shoulders back, maybe letting that spine get nice and long through the crown. About how strong you are. Warrior. Deep breath in. Exhale, fingertips and slow lower of that left toe. Just really noticing every sensation as you move that right foot out and lower the left leg. Stacking the knee over the ankle, maybe sinking into those hips a little. Or if you find it feels good to come to the forearms, please do. So we have our runner's lunge, or maybe you're even more into a full lizard. Stacking shoulders over those elbows. If you're down to forearms, find some movement in the right foot. And if it's in your practice to take any variations today, please feel free to pull that left forearm into center, turning in towards the right inner thigh, gazing up. Working that inner hip open, giving yourself permission to surrender and let go, release stress and tension from the hip. And if you'd like to bend your left knee, wave back at your toes or reach back. Adding a little dynamic tension through the elbow, lifting up the heart. 3 more breaths here, and then we'll move into that side plank in the opposite direction. 2. Last one, inhaling. Exhale, come around, plant the hands, walk up, shoulders over the wrist with the left toe, and step back and open to your side plank. Taking a variation that works for you. So if you'd like to be on one knee, please do. If you feel you want to lift a second of your leg up, or if you want to take that toe back a little bit, please find a place that feels good. Squeeze through your right side and open up the left. We'll take one more breath and then roll through to that high plank. Just control the movement here so you can feel every sensation. If it gets to be too much in the arms, roll to the knees and move through your chaturanga, or you can press back to your downward facing dog, and then come to child's pose for 5 breaths. Finding grounding and safety through that stillness. Move to a little bit closer to the earth. We'll go forward for half pigeon. If you want to do half pigeon on your back, please do so. That's just fine. So I'm just going to inhale up, flip the toes. If it helps you to bring your right toe high, give you a little push, come open. Make it as quietly as you can so you're using that core to pull the right toe up to the left wrist or wherever is comfortable. Left leg slides back. If you have a block and you'd like it under your glute on the right side for support, or if you'd like to roll on your back, the same position can be done on the back. Once you find your space, left leg goes nice and long back. We're still squaring out those hips, right? Bringing the left hip forward, right hip back. And you can take variations that suit you here. If you'd like to move down to almost a sleeping swan, maybe you can bring your hands to your forehead to your hands, your third eye. And I just want you to start to melt here, just melt into the earth, become one with the earth. Non-violence to self. Giving yourself permission to let go of what you might be carrying in the hips. Softening in with each exhale. We'll melt here for about 10 more breaths. From here, just gently and slowly at your pace, walk back up. We're just going to plant the hands and just take a brief break back into child's pose as a counter pose for this. So as you move back and find your child's pose, see if you feel a nice release. That energy as we let go of the left hip. And we'll go right back through that left side whenever you're ready. Your pace, inhaling. Come up, choose the way you'd like to get into your half pigeon. Again, if you'd like to pull the toe up for a little bit more reach, you can bring that left toe in. Right leg goes straight back, finding the square in the hips. Right hip forward, left hip back. Easing in, taking that block for support, or choosing to do this on your back where you have a little bit more control or direction into the deepness of the stretch. Forward here, the floor is doing a lot of that for us. And breathe here, settle in as deep as you'd like. Maybe using your inhales to acknowledge sensations in the body and your exhales to sink a little bit deeper, melt into the earth. About 10 more deep breaths in and out here. Observation without judgment. From here, this one we'll take back into child's pose as well. Take your time. You can stay here a little longer if you'd like. Or if you're ready to release that tension, slide back. Come up to that tabletop position and come to a seated space, bringing those legs all the way around. Extending the legs nice and long as you pull your belly button back and in to your spine. Adjust the sit bone a little bit, kind of almost making yourself a little bit angled towards the toes. Inhale that belly in and exhale, let's sink down to a seated fold. And maybe today that's just touching your knees or your calves, or if it feels good for you, just keep thinking belly to thigh, protecting the lower back. Just 3 breaths here. And from here, we'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, roll back nice and slow. As you roll back, maybe knees come up, and we'll do legs up the wall here. So bringing those legs straight up, really pressing your lower back into the earth, finding a place for your arms to be comfortable. And maybe you work the toes a little closer to your face. Breathing through here, 5 more breaths. A little counter pose if you'd like to bend your knees and tuck them into your chest. And we'll exhale, plant the feet into the earth. We'll go into a little bit of bridge pose here, so we're still grounding and feeling those root chakra energy, but this time we're going to be a little bit more vulnerable into the hips. Again, releasing and creating space. So stack the knees over ankles on your inhale. Walk your arms under your body if you like, and start to lift up the hips. So our yogi bridge is a little different than what you might see in a Pilates or something. We're really finding depth in the back bend, heart opener. Squeeze the glutes. If you want to interlace your fingers underneath, you certainly could. Really using the press in through the shoulders to lift so that your whole body is energized. And if you'd like to take some attention to your low back, right here, you'll just release your squeeze in the glutes. Just gently let the glutes go soft, and you should feel a deepening of the stretch in the lower back. Still finding safety and readiness in the upper body and the feet. 5. As you're ready to release, we're going to just gently and slowly lower the back to the earth. Release the arms. And again, if you'd like a little counter pose, if you like tucking your knees in, go right ahead. You can drop those knees side to side, little windshield wiper. And at your pace, bring the body back into happy baby. Grabbing tops of feet, toes, inner, outer, if you'd rather press on your inner hips. Sometimes I like to grab the feet and press down, pressing the knees to the earth, really grounding through the back. Breathing here for 5. From here, release the legs. We'll do one more little opening for the heart and back here. So let your legs come down to a comfy position. That could be easy pose or legs into the earth. I want you to inhale and walk your arms under your body so that your palms are planted into the earth. Maybe your thumbs can touch. If they can't, that's no big deal. We're just working the shoulders open here. So right here, you're getting a heart opener already. You do not have to move through any further. If you'd like, you can start to maybe just press your forearms in the earth and just lift up supported. Maybe you keep your head on the ground. And if it's in your practice to go full expression into fish pose, press into the forearms, lift the heart up. So there's a lot of strength in the upper body. And if it feels okay to open your throat, do so. Very vulnerable pose here. exposing ourselves and then reminding ourselves that we are safe and grounded as you roll back to the earth. Release your arms, tuck your knees into your chest, tuck your chin into your chest, find the tightest little ball that you can. And as you inhale here, feel a little golden string move through the crown of your head down through the base of your spine. And as it hits the base of your spine, it's going to pull you into the earth, all the way to the center of the earth where the warmest golden energy is there. Take one more big inhale here, pull that energy from the earth, and then exhale, release into your Shavasana. End pose, corpse pose. Find a place that's comfy where you can completely let go. So we have moved energy through the physical body here. Now what we're doing is giving the physical body time to step back and rest while we nurture the mind and spirit. So I will take you through a little meditation. You get comfy there. Thinking about that intention at the beginning of class, maybe forgiving any of those limiting belief thoughts that have come into your mind about either not being good enough or doubts about yourself, reminding yourself that that source energy is more powerful than any limiting belief. And see if you can find some golden energy, that golden string. And let's let it come in through the crown of the head again. As you're resting and breathing here, that golden energy is just going to start to melt down the top of your head. Each exhale melts that golden energy through your body, melting you into the earth, just becoming one, that grounded root energy. Maybe now it's pouring down your shoulders, that nice warm glow. As it reaches the side body and into the hips, the sacral chakra, easing the belly, and moving down through the legs, knees, into the ankles and toes. With each exhale, that golden energy melts your body a little more until it's almost gooey, mushy. Think about ways in which you could practice self-love or non-violence through ahimsa. And maybe take attention throughout your week to those grounding poses as you walk on the earth or as you feel connected. welcome to stay here as long as you like in your Shavasana pose, melted into the earth. If you do decide you are ready to move on with the rest of your day, gently and slowly as possible, finding movement in the fingers, toes, maybe dropping or rolling that head a little bit. Thinking about those redwood trees again, let's find length in the body, long body stretch, nice and strong. Just taking an extra little half inch. And exhale, roll onto one side, whichever side your body tells you. You've got sun energy on the right and moon on the left. Just think about this new beginning pose as a way to set yourself up for contacting those limiting beliefs, knowing that they aren't the truth, and letting your source energy build. Taking a deep breath in here, exhale, roll yourself back up to center, nice and gently. We'll meet here to close out our practice. As you reach center, turning palms open to the receiving position, just letting the universe know that we are open to receiving all those good things coming to us. Take a deep breath in, just keep breathing it in and hold it. When we exhale, we're going to empty out here. So inhaling and open mouth, exhale. Pulling hands into heart center, we'll pause here a moment for gratitude. So gratitude for any of our past experiences, whether they're good or bad, have led us on the path where we are in our human experience. Acknowledging that whether good or bad, those experiences have given us strength and a path and a place in which we can determine what it is we want to direct our energy to. The light of love in me honors the light of love in you. Namaste. Namaste.